All right, episode number 3 coming at you live. Just kidding. This is all recorded. A little more flight time. Away we go. I worked an office job while I was in university. It was a weird time in my life. I'm a creative person. Somebody told me when I was hanging out with a friend of mine anyway, be careful with your creativity. Once you find out you're creative, you might not want to do what you're doing. And I was like, all right. I was hanging around with my best friend. He consumed marijuana. All right. And he would ask me questions that would allow my creativity to be free. Like, hey, man, if the grass is green, but it needs yellow sunlight, how does that work? I'm like, well, since I am the sober one here, let me break this down for you. The green grass needs the yellow sun and the blue water. But then the question would come out like, hey, man, if the yellow sun makes the green grass, how do we get the brown tree trunk? I'd be like, well, I need to go back to school for that one, dude. There's only so much I can do. What was worse was working downtown. I used to keep a lot of fish, aquariums. I don't mean fish like to eat. I mean aquariums. And something I found with the aquariums was they're in a glass cage, these fish, and they start to respond differently depending upon what they're doing. I felt bad. But one thing I would never do, I would never put a glass cage near a window with a lakeside view. Okay? And I didn't understand why, when you work downtown, they would put the train station right beside your building. I would never do that to a fish and be like, hey, dude, that's what freedom looks like, but it's not yours. Because that's how it felt when I was in my building. Sometimes I would look down and just think like, 43 floors. Bet I can make that jump. I couldn't do it. I was not a good accountant, and my mom asked me the other day, hey, is your hair thinning? I was like, yeah, as a matter of fact, it is. But it's your fault. She kind of looked at me puzzled. I was like, Mom, you taught me the power of visualization. I've been visualizing my waist getting thinner for a very long time. But through all this stress at work, my brain must have gotten confused, misread the message, and sent it to my hairline, and my waist has just gotten bigger. All she had to say was, well, son, if you want to ride the lightning, you might get caught in the storm. I'm like, damn, Mom, that's a great line, but that doesn't help me with my hair. Yeah, I love my family. I do. I love my family. My brother is a hairy individual, and we are very different. He's not short, but he is, 5'10" in your living room, 6 foot on the dating apps. He's not hairy like if you were out at a campsite at night or at dusk. You would worry you're about to get attacked like a salmon. No, not that hairy, but like sometimes when we go to a public pool, they'll say, sir, you can't swim with a sweater on. You could drown. He's like, I'm just wearing my swim trunks. The other night we were doing fireworks and I yelled out, be careful, that sweater material looks flammable. He goes, screw you, man, I'm just wearing a t-shirt. I laughed, my neighbor laughed. It's tough. But I'm tall. He is hairier. He's full of testosterone. That's why I bring it up, because I'm scantily clad. If there was a men's lingerie section, my chest hair would be the summer edition lace pattern. Okay, that's how thin it is. Sometimes they're like, sir, cover up. I'm like, dude, I'm just out walking without a t-shirt on. I'm not wearing anything promiscuous. But I'm tall, so you can't complain to someone who is shorter than you about, damn, I just hit my head off that fan, or, oh man, I hit my head in that door frame. That stick just got caught in my hair. It's like if you're sitting at a bus stop and somebody pulls up in a Rolls Royce. They always have those stupid shades on. You're ogling their car, and they'll say something like, don't worry, son, everything comes in time. I'm like, let me stop you right there, big man. The only thing that comes in time is if I'm masturbating to a metronome. I hate raccoons. I hate skunks. And that's all you get when you come out of the city into where I'm at. There are raccoons and skunks everywhere. The other night I was out for a walk with my girlfriend, and we saw Pepe waddling down the road. There was a scream, and I took off running. Finally, she caught up to me. She punched me in the shoulder so hard. She goes, "You ever scream like that in my ear again? Next one, I'll punch you in the face." All I could think was like, thank God she wasn't mad I took off running. Raccoons, they're right up there though. My brother and I, we were throwing the football, and a spiral got away from me. Ended up sailing underneath a pine tree. Big pine tree. So I go under, I lift the bottom bough branches up, and I'm thinking, wow, there's 2 raccoons. One is hunched over the ball, the other one's behind it. It's like they're playing offense. One was going to hike it to the other. There was another one lined up in front of those 2. Looked like it was playing defense. I thought, wow, that's cool. But upon closer inspection, I realized, no, my spiral had sailed under the tree and interrupted what appeared to be a National Geographic OnlyFans production. That wasn't the worst part. The worst part was me having to explain to my brother, hey man, we got to get out of here. We can never come back to this park, and we're going to have to leave the ball. He was like, you don't think they'll give it back to us? I'm like, trust me, dude. They're in the middle of something right now that you do not want to interrupt. Okay? And that, I've never understood bestiality. I'm not a proponent of it, but I've never understood it. Like, do the animals want us back? Do they like us too? Other than just, for food? I was walking in the zoo, and I walked by the tiger cages. I started getting catcalled. I was like, well, actually, I was confused because I was flattered. And I was, slightly aroused because they're just so majestic. But I looked right at Tigger, and I was like, hey, dude, you need to calm down. I'll come back around dusk after dinner, all right?